Well, it's almost the end of 2009, and that means that the first decade of the 21st century is coming to a close. So I thought I would look back at what I thought was the best and worst movies of the last 10 years. I'm going to be looking at the good movies from the past 10 years. The first movie I'm looking at is Gladiator. I'm sure most people have seen this movie already. It won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2000. The action sequences are really great in this movie. Also, I thought, even though it's a very violent movie, as it should be because it's about gladiators in ancient Rome, I thought the violence was very artistic looking and very enjoyable. Also, I love the plot, and I liked how Ridley Scott kind of did sort of an old school throwback to when back in the 50s and the 60s they used to make epic action adventure movies like Lawrence of Arabia and Spartacus. The next movie is 2007's Into the Wild. I'm sure a lot of people didn't really go out and see this movie. It wasn't very popular by any means. It was directed by actor Sean Penn, and I remember reading the book which the movie is based on back in high school, and I really enjoyed it. The story is actually based on a true story. It's about a 20-something kid who graduates from a prestigious Washington, D.C. college, and he decides to leave his privileged life behind and travel to Alaska. And it's just a great American soul-searching adventure, and it's all about him meeting all these characters, and in the end it becomes tragic because he gets to Alaska and he starves to death alone in the Alaskan wilderness. When I was reading Into the Wild book, I actually thought it would be a great movie to be made, and I think Sean Penn did an excellent job with this movie. I remembered everything from the book, and Sean Penn brought it to life in the movie. I liked the acting, and I liked the photography and the locations, and it was just a very solid movie. And if any of you out there haven't seen it yet, I totally recommend that you do. So for my last final pick for one of the movies that I thought was the best from the last 10 years is Slumdog Millionaire. This movie swept the Oscars last year in 2008. It won Best Picture and Best Director among other categories. And there's no surprise why it should have won, because it was just a great story, very uplifting, very moving. It's about a small kid in India who grows up in poverty, violence, and crime, and when he gets older, he gets a chance to play for $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And it's also a love story, and I thought the love story was very touching and, very, very honest, and I thought all around, I thought the whole movie was great. I'm glad that they didn't cast any big name actors in the movie, otherwise I don't think it would have been that good. I agree that this movie should have won for Best Picture at the Oscars. The next movie that I found really bad from the past 10 years is Transformers. Now, I know a lot of people are going to give me crap about this because they love the Transformer movie, and that's fine, but I'm just going to say that the Transformers movie was just a big giant mess of a movie. There was just too much going on. There were too many special effects, too many sound effects, too many characters, too much dialogue. There was no time to breathe and to just sit back and enjoy the movie. It was just wall-to-wall action for an hour or so, and it was, the humor in it was just not funny, and it's just a big mess. And I think if you drink a couple of energy drinks, it would probably be a better movie. But the fact is that this movie has the worst attention deficit ever. It can't pay attention for 1 second, and it has to video edit, cut from one scene to another in just 2 or 3 seconds. Michael Bay is a horrible director, and that is why I chose not to go see the second Transformers movie, Rise of the Fallen, because I knew it was going to be the same sort of experience. And my last pick for the worst movie of the last 10 years, and this one really takes the cake. I couldn't really think of a worse movie than Grandma's Boy. This movie was written and produced by this guy, I forgot his name. He's had roles in pretty much all of Adam Sandler's comedies, including he was the caddy who had a beard in Happy Gilmore, and he was the limo driver in The Wedding Singer. And somehow he decided that, oh, he's so funny, he can write a movie and make this dumb comedy and have Adam Sandler executive produce it. The plot is very simple but very stupid. It's about this guy who is a video game designer, and he loses his house to foreclosure or something like that, and his girlfriend breaks up with him, so he decides to move in with his grandmother, and all this crazy stuff happens. But it doesn't really matter because the movie is just beyond gross. It's not funny. It's a very crass comedy. The funny thing is that I actually took my grandmother to go see this movie because I thought it was going to be a harmless comedy, but I was wrong. The fact that my grandma was there and she didn't like it and I thought it was terrible, that's why I chose it as probably the #1 worst movie from the past 10 years.